Is it time to tear down the wall? Or maybe we don't need no education? Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you to Raid and Polarium for sponsoring this video. You guys are absolutely amazing. We are here during the Kroz Wallbreaker fusion. As you can see, he is a fragment summon. He is right here. I've got 5 fragments for him already on my free-to-play. I've done some champion training for him. He's an interesting champion. We're going to go break down his kit quickly, and then we will talk about what you can do to possibly get him, and then I will talk a little bit about as well whether or not I think he is going to be worth getting, what accounts I think can benefit from him the most, and which accounts can very safely skill them, and which accounts, probably can just not worry with them as well. So we'll work on it. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about, and you guys sit back, relax while you're at it. If you want to hit that like button and subscribe button, I really do appreciate all the support. We're closing in on 5,000 subs this year, and it would be great to hit that in 2025. So here he is, Kroz Wallbreaker. Apparently I put a "the" in there at some point in time. That's fine. He deserves it. He's a cool looking dude. And he definitely is a cool looking dude here. They definitely knocked this out of the park here. He looks like he's burning a little bit or has some blast damage on here, or maybe he's on fire inside. Who knows? He is awesome though. I love the little gladiator-esque aesthetic. I love his armor look. He does the visuals pretty well. He's a cool looking champion for the wood, at least. So first of all, his A1 is a triple hitter, which is not too bad. It's got a 30% chance, bookable to 50, to decrease the detonation countdown of bombs on the target by 1 turn. So he's going to average 1 to 2 of these per hit. He also has a chance of placing stun. I don't think this is on a per hit basis. 50% chance to stun, though, is still solid. On the A2, he's a bomber. He places bombs, so you're not going to have any affinity issues with the bombs. They did get rid of a book here that said plus damage because that did not actually affect the bombs. So this is now only 3 books here as well. Plus he does 4 books on the A1 as well. That's going to be a good ability as well. Plus that turn meter is kind of nice when he puts bombs on enemies because he gets turn meter from those bombs. That's going to be 100 to 125 turn meter in theory. That is not going to guarantee him an extra turn because the turn meter is really, really weird, but it's still going to give him a good chance to go soon-ish. And if you have other turn meter boosters, you probably can make sure that he goes next. Or at least goes before the enemy team gets a chance to go. And then his A3 is attacks all enemies. This can weak hit, so he doesn't always get this part, unfortunately. Has a 75% chance, bookable to 100, of decreasing the detonation of all bombs by 1 turn, and then has a block active skills as well. The block active skills is very, very good. The multipliers on this appear to be very, very good as well. So if you build him for raw damage or damage in addition to bombs, that could be an interesting build for him. So you could certainly build him with max crit rates, a bunch of attack, good crit damage, and go from there rather than go for the bomb scaling if you wanted to make him more of a pure damage dealer. So it is a utility you could use if you want to build him for bombs, which, to be fair, is probably going to be a little more useful in things like the arena, as well as for the bomb floors in the Ogre and Hard. Then you're going to want to build him with a ton of attack on the gauntlets, as well as on the amulet, as well as, of course, on the chest piece, which you were going to do anyway. Finally, his passive here fills all allies' turn meters by 5% for each time a bomb device detonates. Bomb debuff, not device. But then has a 20% chance of activating an instant turn effect on this champion whenever an ally or an enemy is killed by a bomb debuff. That is very powerful as well. Means he gets basically plenty of chances to get extra turns to keep going. Is it a great kit? Well, it reads fairly good. There's a couple of problems with it. The big problem here is this turn meter boost is only going to get so far. It is not an extra turn like you have with, say, a Gizmak, or not Gizmak, but a Nishak. Nishak gets the extra turn, and that's going to be a better skill overall than his. Second of all, his bomb multipliers don't seem to be quite as good as Nishak's either, so he's okay. He's not bad. He is not, however, a meta-changing champion as well. I still think he could be good for a lot of people. Let's go take a look at the schedule so we can talk about the schedule as well as who should be going for him. Okay, so here we have the schedule. The schedule is pretty standard for the most part. There are 130 fragments, and places to be aware of is we have the Summon Rush where you can get 15 of them, and then we have the Champion Chase where you can get 15 of them as well. So you cannot skip the top level of both the Summon Rush and the Champ Chase, and you cannot skip either one of them entirely either. There are only 10 extra fragments, so you're going to need to grab extra fragments everywhere. And if you think you can do the high level of the Summon Rush and the high level of the Champion Chase, then you can skip up to 10 fragments in other events as well. But if you cannot do that, just be aware. So as far as the easy stuff is concerned, we have the classic arena ones. Those are super, super easy. We generally have the regular dungeons. I'll mark those with a lighter green. We do have the Fire Knight tournament right here. We've got the Dragon tournament right here. You've got Ice Golem right here. And then we have Spider right here. As far as things you need to be aware of, we have the Summon Rush here. Generally, the Summon Rushes are going to be approximately 6 Sacreds. And then if you want the extra 10, that's going to be 10. So be aware of that. As far as the Champion Chase goes, this could either be Ancients or it could be Voids. If we stick to the schedule we've had for the past 3 events, it's Voids. If we look at the fact that there's going to be Black Friday, it could be 2x absolutely everything, although maybe not necessarily primals, although we haven't had a 2x primals in a long, long time. I don't expect it to be only 2x primals for a Champion Chase tournament, although I guess they could do that. They have done a 2x primals once during a fusion, but that was not the only 2x that was going on that weekend, I believe, and that was the Polarium's celebratory weekend for their anniversary. So I believe that was during the Fabian fusion. And so as far as what you're going to need from the Champion Chase tournament, you're going to be needing about 3,000 to 3,500 points. That is not too bad, usually, especially if it is a 2x Ancients or 2x Voids. 2x Voids is usually really easy to do because you get at least 500 points per pull, and as long as you get 1 or 2 epics, you get over 1,000 points per pull, so it's 20 to 30 Voids usually gets the job done. 40 Voids absolutely gets the job done for the top level. Plus, you can summon other fragment champions, you can summon Broadmaws, you can do other stuff like that. Because you can do other things to get Champion Chase points, Champion Chases tend to be a lot easier, and there are plenty of alternative ways to do them if you don't have a ton of shards. Summon rushes are where it's going to be rough. A lot of us are pulled of all of our sacreds. I only have 3 on the free-to-play. I get 1 more of them this weekend, so that's going to be difficult for the free-to-play. But if I can get to at least 4 sacreds, which I can, I've got plenty of mystery shards to pull, and if I have to pull a few other shards as well, I have to pull a few other shards as well. But that's going to be my barrier for getting this fusion done. The Champion Chase, I am not worried about at all. So other things certainly to note, it's always nice to know when we have the Champion Training Tournament. So the Champion Training Tournament right here is one of them, and the Champion Training Event here is the other one. They both are going to have 10 fragments, so that is going to be worth noting. You're going to have to do quite a bit for these, but honestly, it's not too unusual. I believe it's like 6,800 is the current one for Champion Training for the second set of points here. There are 10 extra fragments here for winning that, as well as 10 for winning the Champion Chase. Don't plan on winning that, but if you do win the Champion Training Tournament, then you can certainly count on missing something else. But I wouldn't count on it. I think I would treat that as a bonus and plan for not making that. As far as the other ones that are concerned, Gear Hunters is always a bit of an issue. We have the 3 Gear Hunters here. I like to do these in red. So Gear Hunters here, 1. You'll notice this lines up perfectly with this Fire Knight event and the Champion Training Tournament. This shouldn't be too bad to do. You finish the Fire Knight tournament, you run some campaign for Champion Training, and you might have to run a little more of another dungeon, and you should be fine in Gear Hunters. Generally, Gear Hunters is not finished by a single other tournament, unfortunately. It's very frustrating, but it's the way they tend to be balanced. So you're going to need a good amount of energy for this one. But if you're running some campaign, and this is a good excuse to run some campaign for the champion training. Get those 500 campaign battles in if you're an endgame player. And if you're an early game player, you're going to be running campaign for energy and experience anyway. That's going to get you a bunch of extra silver as well, because I find I get a ton of silver for running campaign from selling all those shields on 12.3. So with that, we've got another Gear Hunters event. This one starts right here. This one starts halfway through the Dragon Tournament and ends before the Ice Golem Tournament. This one is going to suck. This is going to be rough. Basically, do as little of this Dragon Tournament as possible. There is champion training going on here as well, so you can finish up your champion training and maybe even run some, some Minotaur, for example, might be something you can do to get some extra champion training points while this is happening. Just don't use any extra energy. Save your energy for Monday morning and then run Dragon, or I guess Monday afternoon for those of you in, places where these things reset in the afternoon. That would be very helpful as well. And then finally, the final Gear Hunters event is right here. That starts at the middle of the Ice Golem Tournament. So basically, this one's going to be the easiest one to deal with. So this one's going to be Ice Golem. After the first day, you can basically run this. You'll have the champion training event kind of finishing up there. You do have a little bit of champion training down here with this one as well. So you do have a little bit of campaign champion training you can do for this Gear Hunters event as well. So that is another way to make sure that one gets done. And then, as we mentioned, probably you'll be able to get the champion training event here, along with Ice Golem and some Spider for this Gear Hunters event as well. So if you plan to be finishing this Gear Hunters event by finishing Spider in a day, save a bunch of gems or extra energy, and you can push and finish Spider in a day. Spider's the easiest one to finish in a day in a situation like that, so that is not too bad to do. And that'll get the Gear Hunters done as well. Other things I know some people do have a problem with. We got the Gear Hunters event down here. Generally, that is going to be 15 to 20. I apologize for my handwriting. Million silver. There we go. And for all of those gear enhancement events. So, yay, arrows. And then we got one more right here. There we go. So, the good news with those is you'll earn a bunch of silver running some of these Gear Hunter events. So if you have at least 20 million silver going into this, usually that's enough to do all three of them combined. You're just going to have to probably sell some stuff in the meantime. I did do a video that will probably drop actually tomorrow for you guys that'll talk a little bit about other ways you can earn some easy silver to help with some of these events as well. So as long as you have enough silver to do at least the first one and possibly the second one, you should be fine. On my free-to-play, I've got like 55 million silver, so I am not worried about all three of these events at all. The other thing that's kind of nice about these is while you're doing champion training, you're often tempted to build champions. So sometimes I will build a champion during a gear enhancement event, and that's my basis for rolling up gear. And then I will look and see what other silver I have and then roll up the rest of my gear. Generally, I try to roll things up to +8 or +12 on the account. If I haven't rolled a piece of gear yet, either it needs to get rolled up to at least +8 to see if I want to keep it, or it needs to get sold if I don't think it's worth rolling when I'm doing those gear enhancement events. And that means that it makes it easier for me to build champions. So that's my quick tip for making sure you get those gear enhancement events done. So with all that said, we've actually covered pretty much everything on here. Again, just don't forget to do your arena battles during the arena tournaments. If you have to take out a normal defense and put in a really, really squishy defense to keep your classic arena team just a little bit lower and to help other people out doing this one. I realize that this one happens over the weekend for platinum pushes for some people, but if you're pushing in platinum, you're not going to care because you're going to be pushing platinum, so you're going to hit this one with regardless. And if you're not pushing platinum, you probably don't care because you're going to be dropping like a stone anyway, which is also fine. So those things are available there. We've got the gear enhancement. We have the 3 gear hunters. This gear hunter is probably the trap. This one is going to be next week, Tuesday, Wednesday during Siege. Just be careful. Watch out for this one right there. So who should be doing this fusion? Well, the list of people that should be doing this fusion, if you can, are players who have never done Faction Wars normal, because getting a damage dealer for Oghren is hard, and he's a good damage dealer. Even if you just build him as a pure nuker, he will be a solid damage dealer for you. Good enough for normal Faction Wars. If you are struggling with the bomb floor on Faction Wars Hard, he is going to be a great champion for you because, well, he's got bombs and you don't have a lot of them. If you struggle with Stone Skin in the arena, well, he's a viable bomb champion in the arena. He's not the best, but he's a viable option for you. Who shouldn't be going for this fusion? Well, if you don't have the resources to it or you don't think you can, push the fusion until you get through the summon rush and see what you can do. If you can't do it because the summon rush is just not going to work for you, and to be fair, I'm not saying pull shards during the summon rush and kind of hope you can make it. Calculate how many points you're going to have during the summon rush and push, and then make a decision on Sunday of the summon rush. If you can't, then skip it. Seems fine. If you want to get some fragments for Maud, that's great. Maud gives you some other good rewards as well. So get some occasional fragments here or there, but otherwise just regroup. Don't pull shards this weekend. Maybe don't pull shards next weekend, and save up for the next fusion, because we are going to have a Christmas fusion. We're probably going to have a Titan event for a free Void Legendary. That is assuming that we can take the past 2 years in as precedence. We have had a Titan event for a Void Legendary the past 2 years, and that is well worth going for because it was Cernic, who is a very useful Void Legendary, and it was Tormund, who is still a edge meta champion for Arena and a lot of other content as well. So hopefully it should be a good Void Legendary, and the chance to get a Void Legendary is generally a good thing to take advantage of. So if you're going to struggle to do the fusion, feel free to skip it. If you do not need a bomber, if you are done with Faction Wars Hard, certainly you can skip this fusion. You're not going to really find this champion be particularly useful. I just find that if you have the resources and you are ultra endgame, the only reason to skip a fusion is because you really have pulled too many shards and you're just not in a great situation. And that's fine. Occasionally skipping one is fine. But most endgame counts can do most fusions. So, if you just want to skip this one because you'd rather save up for the Titan event and so it's going on Christmas, that's great. If you're very, very new, you're probably going to struggle to deal with him, and that's fine. He is not going to be a champion. Well, I don't want to say you won't regret it, because you might regret it in the fact that he is a free guaranteed champion that can do stuff on an account, even an early account, where he could be useful. But sometimes it's not worth the energy you're going to expend for the account. This is not a bad fusion, but in the course of this year, this is certainly one of the lesser exciting fusions. We've had Lysanthier, who was not particularly exciting, but Lysanthier has proven to be a very good champion. In fact, he is in the top 10 damage dealers in Hydra on the leaderboards for people that like to push Hydra. So Lysanthier proved to be a very, very good champion. Ishiyama, a lot less good. But here's the thing too. Fragment champions are also champions you can hide in your fragment vaults until you need them for champion chases for other champions as well. So if you get a chance to do this fusion just to have another tool to do another fusion later, that is 500 champion chase points you won't have to worry about in a later fusion, or it's 30,000 clan versus clan points if you're into the clan versus clan stuff. There's other uses for these fragment fusions other than just as champions. They can also be used as currency and tools to do fusions. So with all that said, I like to go for fusions. I'm never going to tell you to not go for a fusion. I will tell you that not every fusion is a banger, and this guy is not a banger, not one that everyone's going to regret. He's still a good one, and it's certainly nice to have more champions on your roster than less. So, take with that what you will. If you decide you don't want to go for it, that's fine. Is he worth spending money for? No. He's really not worth spending money for unless you were going to spend the money anyway. So with all that said, hopefully you get a chance to go for him if you wanted to. Let me know down below, did you want to go for him? Are you actually going for him? Are you spent and just kind of done? Do you think he's not that great? Do you think he's absolutely amazing? Do you agree with me or disagree with me on this stuff? I love to hear this stuff. I love to hear your opinions because it's an opinion. At the end of the day, I may be one of these content creator experts per se, but it is still my opinion, and I like to hear from you guys because occasionally you change my mind, and sometimes I change your mind. So it's always nice to hear from you guys as well. Again, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate you, and I do appreciate Polarium for sponsoring me as well. You guys are absolutely amazing, and it is great to have such a wonderful community. And honestly, I love creating content for you guys anyway, so it's absolutely amazing to get, paid to do this. So I'm not going to complain too much. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And until the next video, I am Bront, CatHerder.